And let's get straight into it, okay? Today's topic is confidence and how to be unbothered. So I get this question a lot, particularly when I'm on TikTok live. I have girls asking me like, how can I be more confident? How can I care less about what other people think? How can I be unbothered? And I don't think that the world is like at a shortage of content around this particular topic. So I don't think I'm necessarily going to say anything that's totally new, but I'm trying to present like a different perspective so that this information can stick in your brain and you can get to work, okay? If you're spending too much time comparing yourself to other people, feeling insecure and not feeling confident, being bothered by everything, there are two major factors that I think people overlook when discussing this topic. The first is that you are bored, and the second is that you are a hater, okay? And if you can reconcile with these two overarching themes in your life, or notice where they're like taking hold of your mental space, then you can start to move out of an insecure or bothered state of mind, okay? Because I think that's what it really is. It's a state of mind. It's not a identity unless you continue to reinforce this state of mind. It becomes your identity, okay? So when you think of it as something that can be changed and is flexible in terms of how you think about yourself and how you think about the world, then you can start to take control over how you see yourself and how you engage with the world and whether or not you care about what other people think of you, okay, or to what degree. So let's break these two topics down into subcategories, and I'm just going to kind of try to run through it so this video isn't too long. But if you have any questions or you want other content on specific things, let me know in the comments, okay? So firstly, if you are spending too much time comparing yourself to other people, wondering what they're thinking about you, and suffering from a overwhelming sense of cringe and self-cringe, it's possible that you are bored, okay? This is just the language that I'm using so that you can depersonalize rather than thinking, oh, it's because I'm not good enough, it's because I'm not enough. It's like, oh, I'm actually just bored. Okay, I'm bored because I'm wasting mental energy and energy on thinking about what other people think of me rather than living my life and doing what I enjoy. Okay, I have another video where I talk about do what you enjoy, and my overarching life philosophy is being hot and having fun, but we'll get to that. So you're bored, okay? Think about the fact that you have a certain amount of energy every day. I think especially when you come from a people-pleasing mindset, you feel like, oh, you just have so much to give and you can just give and give and give and think and think and think, but that's not actually the case. Like as you get older and your body starts to age and you decompose, you realize that, oh, you only have a certain amount of energy a day, and in order to make the most of your life, you need to be intentional and you need to have an awareness to the things that you do and the way that you spend your time and energy so that it's not being wasted on silly things like wondering what people who you don't even know, who don't know you, think of you, okay? So you're bored. How to remedy this? Get a life, okay? Consumption is not a hobby. This is going to be a separate video, but scrolling on TikTok, watching videos, watching TV, consuming, purchasing, that is not a hobby, okay? You cannot consider that a hobby unless there is an extra layer of creativity on top of it, such as you consume for the sake of reviewing products or creating content around certain products. You consume content and you do some kind of analysis or content creation around it. That adds another layer of critical thought and analysis that is forward moving rather than just static or an involution, thinking in a loop rather than thinking in a way that allows for progress, open-ended thinking. So consumption is not a hobby and you need to get a life. So how you can find purpose with the way that you spend your time and energy. And your purpose doesn't have to be some grand, like I'm gonna create world peace, I'm gonna like save the children. It doesn't have to be grandiose. You can define this for yourself. So I talk about my life philosophy being hot and having fun. And being hot and having fun is not just, oh, being physically attractive and adhering to the beauty standard and being validated for it, or just living hedonistically. Being hot and having fun is defined on a granular level for me. So being hot, it does include looking good, but it includes feeling good too. So practicing and participating in hobbies and activities that allow me to feel good in my body, in my skin suit, okay? And I talk about hot girl habits and physical activity. So for me, going to yoga class, doing YouTube workouts at home, going to pole dance class, going to dance classes, trying different things that allow me to engage with my body, engage with my femininity, my sexuality in ways that aren't just like me being validated for being a pretty object, okay? So I believe that beauty comes from within if I'm managing my emotions, if I have self-care practices that allow me to stay grounded and to be intentional with my time. That's part of being hot and having fun. Having fun also means engaging in critical thinking, coming up with new ideas, content creating, trying to have a neutral to positive impact on the world around me and my relationships, like whether that's in person or online. And at the same time, there being nuance to this, like still being able to maintain boundaries and to say no to inappropriate behavior or to any infringement of my boundaries, or ensuring that I have a positive self-talk and that I'm self-affirming and that I'm also positively affirming other people as well. This is all part of being hot and having fun, okay? Being able to make money sustainably and also spend in a way that's enjoyable while still saving money. Like, these are the nuances to being hot and having fun for me. And I think that you don't have to have the same philosophy or catchphrase as me, but having something that you return to, so that anytime you're faced with a certain challenge or you're dealing with uncomfortable feelings and experiences, you have like a North Star to return to be like, oh, I'm not being hot, I'm not having fun in this moment. What can I do to remedy that? Okay, how can I get back on the path? Because it's not like your journey is going to be linear, but you can have an overarching theme that you're trying to achieve. And I use the 80-20 rule. So if 80% of my time and energy is being spent on feeling good and living my truth, feeling like I'm living with intention and that I'm spending my time wisely, and 20% is like unaccounted for, or I'm not certain of, or I have like wiggle room for, then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just in the 20% today and it's a tough day today, and tomorrow we wake up and we try again. Or this is just a challenge that I'm working through so that I can get back to that 80%. Maybe without even realizing, your life purpose has been feeling sorry for yourself and being ugly. And being honest with yourself about that is important so that you can define what theme you actually want, okay? If it's not that, what can it be? And what are the things that you need to do to get there? Next thing, exercise your free will. You can actually do whatever you want. I remember one time I was in therapy and I kept saying like, I feel like I should do this, I should do that. And my therapist was like, there is no should. Actually, okay, you could wake up in the morning and piss on your bed if you want to, but you don't, because, in order to maintain a clean room and to have some decorum, you don't piss on your bed when you wake up in the morning. But you could do that if you wanted to. And realizing that you could do a lot of things if you wanted to, and you can do whatever you want, actually. For example, you can print out a picture of Ed Sheeran, girl boss meme, and get it framed and leave it in your studio/study. That's what I'm doing, okay? You can just buy like 6 orchids in a pot and have them in your background if you want. Like, you can do whatever you want, exercise your free will, and just do things that you enjoy and that make you happy. Even if other people think it's weird or nobody cares, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're having a good time and it contributes to your happiness in a way that isn't detrimental to other people, why not, So I do this within the framework of being hot and having fun because, I like to spend money, but I also like to have money. So I'm not going to just frivolously spend money to detriment of my savings. I have to find a reasonable middle ground for myself. I remember sending my guy friend a picture of the memes that I have hung up in my apartment, and he was like, well, what are you going to do if a guy comes over? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do I look like I give a about what a man thinks about my living space? I live here. So I'm going to curate it according to how I like it, not according to how some imaginary person that I don't even know, who may or may not enter this space, thinks. I'm the one that lives here. So as long as I enjoy it, I don't give a about what other people think, okay? You either like it or you don't like it, and it doesn't bother me. I'm not trying to live in your house. Next thing, under the you are bored category, is get a hobby. Like I said, consumption is not a hobby, and a hobby can be anything. It can be coloring in, it can be taking hot girl walks, it can be reviewing all the cafes within a 2-kilometer vicinity of where you live, it can be doing YouTube workouts, it can be learning a language, it could be learning a new skill, it could be picking up an old skill. I think a lot of the times when people finish high school and like tertiary education, they just think learning is over. But I think that part of being alive is learning and evolving and creating. And a lot of the times people think that if something isn't my job, there's no point in me doing it. Or if I'm not making money off this thing, there's no point in me doing it. But I think that's just like capitalism brainworms. You can do things that you enjoy, and actually investing your time and money that you earn from your job into something that you actually enjoy that doesn't have to make money can be really fulfilling. I have made over 100 podcast episodes. I have so many TikTok videos, and I just do it because it's fun. Like, I have other things that pay me money and this is a fun way for me to exercise my brain, engage with the community beyond just the one that I'm in physically. And I just enjoy doing it, and I'm grateful when I have opportunities to make money off it. But I just do it because I enjoy it. Sometimes when you let like capitalist framework completely dictate the way that you live your life, you are becoming an agent of capitalism in a way that you don't even realize and is going to your detriment. In fact, I think that if we're going to be critical of these structures and have the mental capacity to deconstruct them, we have to think outside the box and do things that aren't just for profit and are actually for enjoyment and are actually like bettering your experience of the world, contributing positively to the world around you, rather than thinking that the world is just to serve you earning a profit. But you might have a full-time job doing one thing, and then you use money from that to invest in hobbies that you have outside of your work that are totally unrelated. You know, I always think it's really cool when I meet someone who's like a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant and they have some really unhinged hobby. I think it's great that people can have like this full spectrum of experience and you're exercising different parts of your brain every time you get a hobby as well. And you never know who you're going to meet or what opportunities are going to come up as a result of your hobby as well. Like, a lot of people tell me that they picked up this hobby and then they met their future partner, or they met their current best friend, or they were introduced to an opportunity that's related to their work, even though their hobby isn't related to their work. Open your mind. A hobby doesn't have to cost a lot of money. If you want to do expensive hobbies and you don't have money, maybe think a little more creatively about what you could do that costs less. And that in and of itself builds your confidence, because you are exercising creativity and critical thinking and problem solving and coming to different sorts of solutions and overcoming different kinds of challenges in the pursuit of your enjoyment. That builds your self-confidence and your self-trust, because you're realizing that I actually have the solution within me. I actually have it in me to come up with new ways of living, and I don't have to rely purely on outside circumstances to change in order for the way that I feel about myself and the way that I feel about life to change. Okay, so the next point, which follows on from being hot and having fun and exercising your free will and having hobbies, is enjoy your life. Okay, you are allowed to enjoy your life, because otherwise, what is the point of being alive? Just to suffer? Like, the suffering is inevitable, but what are you going to do instead of suffering? What is the contrast to suffering? You know, because we live in a universe that requires black and white, yin and yang, good and bad, happy, sad. All of these things are going to be part of the human experience, and expanding the breadth and the scope and the spectrum that we experience enriches your life. Okay, you can't just be sad all the time, and you can't just be happy all the time. Understanding each end of the spectrum is what gives you the perspective needed to feel like you're living life to the fullest, and to have a level of confidence in your ability to navigate this spectrum. If you're really happy, enjoy that, and know that if things turn you can overcome it. When you're feeling not enjoy it, but like lean into it and experience the full intensity, knowing that it's just a feeling, and coming to like a neutral emotional place, radical acceptance, as I mentioned in previous content. It means that you can make decisions in service of your overarching life theme or your overarching life purpose, being hot and having fun. Okay, if I'm sad, I let myself feel sad. I radically accept that sadness, and I think, okay, what can I do to be hot and having fun again? What can I do to move the needle so that we're moving along the spectrum in the other direction? It doesn't mean that when you're happy, you need to self-sabotage. Obviously, that's part of the 80% that majority of feeling that you want to experience. Enjoy it, but don't feel like there's something wrong with you, because that doesn't last forever. Life is like this, not like this, and more like this, okay? Upward spiral. Anyway, so that's part one. You are bored. When you start to fill your time more intentionally and you start to do things that you enjoy, you're too busy enjoying your life to care about what other people think, okay? The cringe naturally just kind of takes care of itself, because you're like, oh, I'm cringe, but I'm free. Yeah, other people say this and that about me, but I'm enjoying my life, so I don't give a what you think, okay? Only when you're not having a good time, other people talking about you and being negative feels like it's affirming that. And then you feel like, oh my God, they're right, because I'm not living my life intentionally. People say all kinds of shit about me, and they always have ever since I was little, being considered a weirdo or whatever, or I have resting bitch face. But over time, as I started to be more intentional with the way that I was living, because I think when I was younger, I just lived without any real awareness, so I didn't understand why people were coming for me. But now I'm like, why do you even have time to think about me? Because I don't even know who you are. I'm too busy enjoying my life. I'm too busy going to the pole studio. I'm too busy making random ass content telling hot girls to break up with their ugly boyfriend. I don't have time to really care about what other people think. And then you can also reflect back on yourself and realize that you were being a hater when you used to care about what other people were thinking, or you did have too much free time to worry too much about what other people were thinking about you. Okay, so part 1, you are bored, get a life. Part 2, you are a hater. Let me know what you thought of today's video. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify and SoundCloud for mixes and music and playlists. And you can listen to my podcast, Friend Crush with Amber Killer. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you for your support so far. Looking forward to 2025. Stay hot and having fun. Drink lots of water. Tell your friends and family you love them. And go be a better person. Love you. Speak soon. Mwah.